You look hey, you know when SpongeBob is out of the water and
Yeah.
Sandy's treehouse? That's how you look like. You look like dried up SpongeBob, bro.
Bro. I feel like that, bro.
He out there like he out of his habitat. All right, welcome back to Banner Talk Hip Hop, and we are about to go over this Conway the Machine and 38 Special Machinery album, which dropped a little bit ago, so we're a little bit late, but think it's definitely worth a review. And, we'll kick it right off. Eddie, would you get overall from the album?
How can I put this in the nicest way possible? I found it kind of boring. Um, I just felt like I like Conway's output, in the recent months, ever since, the whole Griselda and like I feel like he's been like consistently putting out music. Um, but overall, I mean, to be honest, I felt kind of bored ba- just basically because I feel like it kind of just sounds the same. Gritty New York beats, gritty rhyme flow, gritty bars, which I usually like, but I don't know. I just felt that it was almost kind of the same listens as previous in the previous past. Um, I like that he made the album like 10 tracks, I believe. Yeah, 10 tracks. Um, but overall, like the production just kind of there wasn't much enticing about the production. I mean, obviously, like, Conway is Conway. Um, definitely spin out bars. I don't know, man. I thought the album was decent, but it didn't really gravitate to me. Like I mean, I know we're doing like album reviews, but usually like when we listen to an album, uh we listen to an album like yes, it's for the review, but it's also for the listen. But I felt like I was forcing myself the second go round. Um I know we're gonna get into like tracks in a bit, but I mean, I like the fact that you know Benny the Butcher was on it. I love the fact that the Lloyd Banks. So, I mean, the features is there, but I mean, overall, listen, I want to say like I found it boring, but not in a bad way. I just feel like I've listened to this before,
Yeah.
and I just think like I don't know. I don't know. It's not really his bars. I think also like I felt like the production was kind of lazy, if that makes sense. But I mean, not that I said I didn't like it. I mean I thought it was okay, but I just feel like with Conway recently, I feel like it almost seems like his recent projects just kind of blend in, if that makes sense. I just feel like
Like he's
there's
getting too much Conway this year.
yeah, just I mean, like I just feel like there's like it's hard to distinct one from the other. But I like I said, I love Conway because like it just and maybe I feel this because like you got like you said like we kind of got into this album review kind of late because what West Side Gun just dropped this album and I thoroughly enjoyed that. So I don't know if my listening to West Side Gun and usually I'm not a huge fan of West Side Gun because like I'm not a big fan of like his piercing, like his voice. But what was that album? And then, but I don't know if that's kind of like steering me in a wrong direction because I really love Benny's projects and I really like this last project of West Side Gun. So I don't know if like this Conway album kind of just left like just like a not a bad taste, but like a boring taste, So maybe I'm thinking too much in the sense of me comparing both of them.
Yeah.
But I mean, like it again. It's not a bad listen, but I just felt like the tracks just kind of meshed and blended in all into one. So there was no distinction in terms of value, production. The flows there, the bars are there, um, features. But again, maybe this just wasn't meant to be like that type of album,
Yeah.
So
Was this your first time listening to 38 Spesh this much?
it is my second time hearing. I mean, this much, yeah. But I've have
Yeah.
heard 38 Special on different tracks. But first time, if you were to ask me, like first time listen to yeah, like yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. But I mean, again, like I said, like I know we're gonna go overall rating, and like again, I'm not trying to dictate like saying like this is like a bad album because it's not. It's not a bad album. It's a it's a it's a decent, solid album to me. But again, I just feel like I was expecting. I don't know what I was expecting in a sense. But again, like I said, I think it's also for the fact that we did like we're almost kind of like forced to compare him to the other two in the group, and you know. Again, like West Side Gun is like my least favorite out of Griselda because again, I'm just not a big fan of like his voice, but I think West Side Gun's album really surprised me. So I don't know if that's kind of like tweaking my recency bias in a sense, you know. But again, like I mean, I know again, once again, I know we're gonna talk about the songs, but I love the fact that Benny was on there. I love the fact that Lloyd was on there, which kind of I feel like Lloyd is getting on a little feature streak, you know. So
Yeah.
but yeah, but I mean, again, it's a decent album, but I found it in a sense a little boring for my taste.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. What do you think, Jason?
Um, I guess you could say when we started like listening to these guys like Kanye, Benny, I probably would sound like Eddie. Like I'm not the biggest fan of this stuff, but as we listened, I started to gain understanding for this type of rap section in hip hop. So it's kind of starting to turn into a league of even the colorful gun bars, the stories about the streets, their neighborhoods. Oh, it's all an art in its own. It's the type of uh even the bar structure, yeah, the topic, like it's all no one else. I guess you could say it's kind of an old school vibe, but they kind of revamped it, and I kind of look at as Conway he did scheme of like a workhorse. I looked at the project with the 38 Special, like 38 Special kind of getting the stamp of approval, you know,
Yeah.
by working with Conway. Kind of like, yeah, we see, you know what I mean? Like you a factor type. And I really, yeah, I guess once you can kind of get into it and once you know, figure it, like I can see where Eddie's like, I think it starts to turn into more of like a cup of tea thing. Like it's just, it either is your cup of tea or it's not, you know? Um,
Yeah.
if you could find that middle ground, that's only better for you as a listener because there's more music. But if you like that stuff, then you have a whole plethora of people that you can go through from West Side Gun to Benny to, and then I was gonna say even it looks like Lloyd Banks is kind of hitting that spectrum as well, and they kind of people kind of respect him as like an OG as far as I don't want to say if he's maybe a cultivator, but you know I need to brush up my boy a little more, but he's that you could definitely see that he has some badges, those respected badges on his on the shoulder when it
Yeah.
comes to just these songs. Like all these guys really take a chance to acknowledge him. So I know we'll get into the bars, but yeah, and partially I think I might like 38 Special a little more than Conway. I don't know. It's kind of how he carries the bars, the voice, the flow. He just kind of flows a little. I don't know. I might need to listen more, but I was pleasantly surprised at this project, and yeah, I enjoyed it. After you let it's
Yeah.
definitely like after the second, third time around, it's one of those you gotta listen to them definitely more than once because it's just so lyrically top heavy. You know what I mean? Like if this shit was a woman, it'd definitely be a muffin top, and the lyrics would be the stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so that's you know like, and I think that's what it is. Like Eddie was more of like I'm looking for more production. I'm looking for and it's like I get that because it's not that type of thing. This is more about the lyrics, the punchlines, the story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And I get the recency bias too, that Eddie was saying, because I think Westside Gunn is probably the best at picking out his production out of the group. So listen to like, you know, if you listen to a Westside Gunn album, then you listen to a Conway album, or even, you know, even the 38 Special album. And 38 Special has some albums that are, the production is fire, but like Westside Gunn's just on a different level when he picks his beats.
Yeah, it's also hard to really, maybe not hard, but it can get a little tricky to, I guess, appreciate a Conway album because there's another one coming.
Yeah,
Like you can't even really sit with it. He don't really give you a chance to
I
sit.
felt like that with Benny too for a while.
Yeah.
And Benny's kind of slowed down a little bit, but yeah, for sure.
Why does it seem like when Benny does solo tracks, like why does he seem so far above and beyond to what Westside and Conway do?
I think Benny has, I think his voice, number one, is a little easier. So like they all have unique voices. Westside's probably the most unique, but Westside, like some people don't like I can see some people thinking like his voice sounds like nails on a chalkboard. You know, he has a very, like you were saying, a piercing voice. Conway, he has that kind of like that slur, of course, because of you know, the face thing. And then I think Benny's flow is probably the best. And then Benny's his voice and his projection, I think, is better than the others. That's just what I think. I was a little bit late to Griselda, but I think I maybe like earlier than the average person. Like I was listening to Griselda before like the Eminem signing and all of that. But as far as like really appreciating them, it wasn't until, you know, a little bit later than a lot of other people. But yeah, as far as this, I've been listening to 38 Spesh for a minute. 38 Spesh raps like a battle rapper. Like the way that he constructs his bars and shit like that, it's like he always has like a double entendre in damn near everything he says. And when he catches his wave that he be going, Conway is like a little more relaxed and direct. But I think they both are giving you, they have their content, right, that they talk about, and that's kind of like with everybody in that lane. But I feel like 38 Spesh and Conway are really creative. The production lacking, I think, is to be expected with kind of like a more underground album, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, overall, I think, yeah, just the grimy beats, the witty wordplay, the punchlines, this is right up my alley. As far as being a listener, like I said, I'm used to listening to these two on tracks together and separately as well. But yeah, I see what Eddie's saying with the production. If they're able to get, you know, some better production, but I think that's what kind of, I don't want to say holds them back, but
I think that's what it is though, because like
yeah, I don't want to say holds them back though, but I don't know what
maybe they don't care.
It's keeping them. Yeah. I think it keeps them because
it keeps them in their lane.
It keeps them in a lane, but it's like, who's to say that's a bad thing, you know? Because it's like,
yeah.
If you look at it like what's the fucking gun with the revolver and bullet chamber, you know?
Yeah, a revolver.
You know, just spinning that, and eventually it'll be time for that bullet to go when it reaches the forefront.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I get it. It's not mainstream. I want to say work. It just doesn't check off the box for that mainstream criteria list.
Yeah, I think that's done purposely too, and I appreciate it for that. They're not trying to do something that they aren't. You know.
Yeah.
38 Specials, they both had countless projects, you know, and I know Conway's last major release was kind of like a stepping out of the box attempt. So, I mean, it's cool to see them kind of like staying true to their roots too at the same time. Like how, like Eddie was saying, like we have to review the album. So is still like me as a reviewer. I have to dock points off for certain things where like me as a listener, I wouldn't really give a shit about, you know, like, do I care that the production is a step down? No, because I'm listening to him for the bars. I'm listening to him for the wordplay. I'm not expecting, you know, Kanye Pharrell level production on an underground, you know, drop.
And there's a lot of people that just like those boom bap, straight to the
I'm
point.
one of them. Yeah, I love that shit.
It's like just all these dudes really need is just a canvas, nothing crazy.
So let's just go around and get our top 5 songs real quick, and we'll start back with Eddie.
Oh man, so I mean, picking top five songs in this album, that's half the album. So
yeah,
definitely Latex Gloves for sure. That's like my favorite song on the album. I mean, again, I don't know, that might be some bias because I love Lloyd Banks. Goodfellas. So Latex Gloves, Special Machinery, Goodfellas, um, uh, Made Bosses. No, actually, my bad. I didn't. I actually didn't like Made Bosses. That's not that one. Fireplace, and then this is why I think like I think this is why I think that album isn't bad, but just like I only really liked half of the album. So again, it's not a big sample size. So that's what I'm saying. It's like when you drop you know, a project that has 4 songs, kind of like, you know, Drake drops like Dark Lane demo tapes or whatever, and it's like 3 or 4 songs deep, but you only like 2 of them. That doesn't mean that it's a bad like mini project, you know. It just you know, you just only like a little bit of that. So and then Unruly. And then the others, like the others, I just, not that I didn't care for, but just it's just like, yeah. But probably say those are my top 5.
Yeah. What you got, Jason?
There's like a pretty even consistency throughout the songs. I like Latex Gloves. Fireplace with Silence. Goodfellas. Unruly and probably Made Bosses. I like those.
Yeah.
But either one, no matter what you pick, it's not really a ding to any of the other tracks. They're all pretty consistent.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I got Goodfellas. I think that's the best track to me. We Outside is right behind it with Pharoah Monch and Shay Noir. It's good to see Pharoah Monch again, of course. Super underrated lyricist. The intro, I like the way that it sets the tone. It doesn't have a bass line. The beat is super simple. It's kind of like this is what you're gonna get. This is gonna be these 2 back and forths, and you have to pay attention to the bars. And that is that's a good setting the tone intro to me. Unruly as well, and then Latex Gloves to round it out. So our list is pretty consistent as far as the 5 best tracks on there. Yeah. So do you guys have anything different as far as production? I have a couple that's different, but I know sometimes we run into the same. The top 5 songs are the top 5 production as well.
Man,
We Outside's production is not bad.
Yeah.
Latex Gloves is Special Machine. Wow, that's a tongue twister, bro. Special Machinery. And then obviously Goodfellas. That's only, I believe, 3. 1, 2. Nah, that's 4. I mean, in terms of like production wise, I mean, I already kind of stated that one of my faults on the album was like the production. So I'm gonna give you 4. So We Outside, I like We Outside, Goodfellas, Special Machinery, and Latex Gloves. So
yeah.
I'll
take it. Jason, what you got? It's pretty. What you think?
It's pretty much with the songs too.
Yeah. I agree. I completely agree. I do agree with that though.
Like you said, with the sample size being so small, it's kind of
Yeah,
hard to like really separate
super
the
hard.
songs and the production. I always like to give each of us a chance to state some beats that stand out. So my five is Goodfellas, and I've got Fireplace, I've got Last Week, I've got Been Through, and I've got We Outside. I think only two of those are in my top five songs on the album. So it's a little different. For some of those, it's just like the beat is really good, but I feel like for my top five songs, it's like the lyrics and the beat are on par with each other, and it's not like one or the other. Whereas it was some, I feel like maybe the production is just a little better than the either the lyrics or the hooks. I felt like the hooks were lacking on this project though. So that might affect my the difference between the top five songs and the top five production. So did y'all have any standout bars or verses on this one that you can think of? I know, like Jason said, it's a bar heavy, top heavy album. So
Let's see.
I definitely got one. This shit made me laugh when 38 Spesh said, "I never let these groupie thoughts do me like Rudy Pops." That shit, I wasn't expecting that. I was like, damn. I low key forgot about Bill Cosby for a minute.
I like the Omarion bar.
Which one
Um,
was that?
uh,
Who said that?
it uh gotta be strong when you pop in the paparazzi form slider singing in your local precinct like Omarion. It's just so funny, even though this is like it's just so like this part of the rock the chinchilla to the ankle bone. I just love how nice it sounds, but it's elementary, like ankle bone. Like that's something
Yeah,
like your nephew would say, like, you know.
yeah,
But it's just, oh man, it's just, yeah.
yeah.
I'm
Some
telling
of
you, man,
the
like this album is really, it is really flow and bar heavy, you know.
yeah,
I
some of
like how
those
these
simple bars be hitting too.
I like how
Just
these
because they
guys.
flow so good. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Nah, you good. What was I gonna say? Um, I like how these guys can like kind of bend the bars, bend words to like make it all come around and the
Yeah,
way that they still can get them going, like no joke to match my smoke, you gonna need charcoal. See narcos, I transport extreme cargo, and don't call myself the plug. No, I'm just resourceful, formal. That's how it's just kind of like okay, like it's
yeah.
it's and
I
it'll
feel
just
like they
keep
use their accent a little bit to their advantage as well.
yeah. It'll
Okay,
take
yeah.
it'll take one syllable, and that's like 12 bars off one
Yeah,
syllable. Just making shit bend and sticking in that. And you know, f- from marble to tomorrow to and even made lawsuits rhyme with that. Like
yeah. I feel like that's where I get like the battle rap essence with them
It's almost like
too.
because there's so many different ways to like rhyme, and like I feel like they use every aspect of like human dialogue to like construct a bar, a verse, so like I mean like these guys are like masters at that, and there's only a few that can do that, so
it's
Yeah,
music. It's low key like music for thinkers, and it's just shit you got to ponder and actually think about. And it takes life experience. First, you got to live through all that shit. So you got life experience. You got there's some musical knowledge like those samples. It's a lot that goes into making that type of music that I'm surprised that it's not more appreciated, that there isn't more of an appreciation for it because of the complexities, I feel like
Yeah.
people just at it like, look at that gritty rap. Yeah, look at that over there in New York. And they just keep it pushing, but it's like, this is truly like art that these guys are constructing. Like, yeah. I wish I don't know.
Yeah. You know what's interesting about that? That you brought it up though. I learned back when I was doing my journalism in college. They used to always, because I was part of like the newspaper team. We always had to make sure we wrote at a sixth grade level, and that's why like the newspaper was like so widely, I guess you could say popular, but like everybody can digest the newspaper, is because it's written at such a low level. The rule was always don't make the reader feel stupid, because people don't like feeling stupid. So like when you brought that up, it was just kind of like the reason why people don't appreciate more complex stuff is because either one, they don't care about whatever the content is, or I kind of think it goes hand in hand where they just don't like feeling stupid. So it's like when we get a lot of the mainstream stuff, it's always like simple or watered down, or like you focus on the flows or the production to make people like feel a certain way, but you don't want to overpower them with concepts and double and triple entendres and shit like that, because most people will shy away from that because they don't want to have to think or like make them feel like they're not getting the song.
Yeah, Buck.
Which if you're a person who does like that type of thing, that's where the frustration kind of
Yeah.
comes in.
I like while you were saying that, I was like, that makes so much sense. And then I pictured myself trying to show my white cousin Conway, and it didn't go well in my head. Like I was just kind of like, okay, because it's just not for everybody, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, just that whole six. She's definitely, yeah, she definitely wouldn't go for that.
Yeah.
No, she doesn't. She will relate to it, but then even like I don't fully relate to everything that he's talking about, but I can still appreciate. I don't know. People are stupid.
Yeah. But you appreciate like the wordplay and shit like that because you're.
It's just like, yeah, even though I can't relate to it, I can still find the appreciation or see why people will appreciate it. Like, but it's like people won't even peek their head at the door. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. Most people, I think if you find anything that is like really, really popular, you'll find that it's like one of the most simple things in its industry. Right. So like iPhone, for example, super easy to use, super intuitive. People always talk about like ease of use, especially with like electronics and shit like that. Like, yeah, if you look at any industry, especially in America, you'll find that the most popular thing is the most simple.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with the music industry in my eyes. But yeah, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. So, who did you guys think was the best feature on the album, or if you guys want to just name a couple? I know you kind of already hinted at it, but just throw a list of best features or best performance on the album.
Best feature, best feature Lloyd Banks. Best performance Benny.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
I give them both.
One is biased and one's not.
Only because like Lloyd just has bars,
Yeah, yeah.
But like Lloyd and Con, they go together because of their grittiness, like their voice. But like Benny's like, I feel like a easier listen, like you said. So, but yeah.
Yeah. Jason, what do you have as far as
I throw it to Lloyd because it's such a heavy bar album. I feel like that also kind of goes because that's kind of the rummier. So yeah, you had bars. I think you had bars that also adds to your performance as well. So I think if you just lyrically barred up, you had a good performance too.
Yeah.
So I give it to Lloyd.
I'm really surprised y'all didn't mention Pharoah Monch too much. So I had like Eddie saying, I think I got Benny with the best performance, right? But I definitely got a nod to Pharoah Monch and Shay Noir on that final track. I thought their verses were really powerful. I will always stand by. She is a top 3 female rapper right now.
Yeah, she's fucking crazy.
She's top 3. Her, Love the Genius, and but yeah, Shay Noir. She definitely she hangs around Griselda a lot and 38 Spesh, so she's got to keep a standard. Same with Love the Genius. Love the Genius is always on Conway's projects. She's not on this one, but her and Conway are really close, and they're lyrically inclined. It's like Love the Genius is if like you take Lauryn Hill and turn her into like a rapper's rapper, and Shay Noir is like if you put Jada Kiss in a female body to me.
Yeah,
But yeah,
she's. I made a mistake, bro. Like, I think We Outside should be in my top 5.
yeah,
I find myself having I won't say a bias, but like maybe kind of a dislike for songs kind of reaching the end of the album, because no matter who you are, it always kind of be like this fucking kumbaya moment. I'll just be over that shit. It's like last song we want to kumbaya and bring it together. Like, I don't know. So I kind of like,
that's funny.
you can kind of predict it, and it's like but this one was hard, man. Like I just popped out to hear it. Like that's the type of track you want to just ride around in the afternoon too, and just kind of cruise it. And that's a good song to roll around. So I just wanted to
Yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah, I don't know if this fucking fever's fucking with me but yeah, that song should definitely be highlighted. Good production too.
yeah. That one was a pretty good production. Rhapsody is the female that I was trying to think of. Um, Hopefully we'll get an album from her by the end of the year. But yeah,
She need a martyr.
Huh?
I was like, she need a martyr. Like, whole
Bro,
stat.
she quietly has multiple Grammys too. It's crazy. Yeah, she's quietly been like one of the best rappers in the game for a long time. Female or male. But what are you guys, if y'all want to give it a ranking? I know it's a little bit weird. I don't know. Like, how do y'all feel about ranking an album like this, where it's kind of like an underground, and it's kind of more like a mixtape to me? How do y'all feel? Does that sway y'all ranking at all, or is it easy to keep it on the even playing field with other albums like Utopia and Michael and shit that's dropped this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's easy. I don't think it's that hard.
Okay.
I would rank it 6.8 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah, like
What you got for it, Jason?
I think I don't know. Should we like switch up the grading scale when it comes to albums like this? Because
I don't think so.
Because it's like,
Go ahead.
it's not make the cut as far as like a mainstream grading list, because it wasn't structured for it. So yeah, I guess I can see where Eddie does like a 6. I'll say it's like a 7, 8. Like I do think maybe the producer could have tried a little harder. You know what I mean? Maybe it's I feel like it's just kind of like, what you ain't using, give me that. Or, what you chopping up. Like, those guys, I feel like those guys are like, maybe if here, I got hella sample cuts. I really appreciated the lyrical side of things. I appreciated the bendage of verbs, the pictures painted, each story, the features. And yeah, like a 7.58. Like,
Yeah,
and
I lean. Yeah, I kind of lean towards that as well. I've played it quite a bit. just because of the lyrical prowess. So I would say, yeah, I'm leaning like I give it like a 7.7 to an 8, you know, where and it's like I'm taking it for what it is, you know. It's kind of like you just got to take it for what it's worth. Do I grade it on a different scale, like subconsciously, possibly? Because I know when I throw on their projects, I know what to look for, you know, and what I'm looking to enjoy. Um, I don't know. I don't know how else. I don't know. I don't know how else I could like grade it, but yeah, I think it's a very solid underground project. One of my favorite of the year so far. Um, like I said, hooks and production to be lacking, and you know, a tighter budgeted project most likely. It's kind of what to expect, you know. So, yeah, 7.7, 8. But I feel what Eddie's saying. Like I don't disagree with anything that Eddie is saying, or even the score. Like even though it's like a whole point difference, but yeah, for sure.
Yeah. This is definitely one of the more projects that I like more out of the many projects that Benny is dropping and will drop. I definitely like this one more out of the other one.
Yeah, Benny or Conway?
Conway, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Conway.
yeah. No, it's a good listen for me. If I can play the album more than 2 or 3 times, and I'm still finding stuff that I can appreciate, that gives me that makes me score it a little bit higher too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like a different lens, you know.
Yeah.
Like I get what you're saying. It's more of a mixtape, you know. It's like West Side Guns album was like a whole ass album. Shit is hella songs on it, which is one of my knocks on it. Cause like I mean, I know we'll probably get into this later, but like even though I enjoyed West Side Guns album more, like I I still don't like think it's like a phenomenal great album. You know, it's just a shit ton of songs. A lot. I feel like there's a bunch of misses because there's like 23 songs on the album. So
Yeah.
but I feel like that's an album. Isn't that a follow up to his last album? So yeah, so this is different. I mean, the budget's probably hella small. I mean, I don't know. It's just different.
Yeah.
But I'm rating it as like an album, like an album, a hip hop album. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That's completely fair. If you gonna put it out, shit, the consumer got the right to judge that motherfucker.
Yeah.
So that'll do it for that review.